Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are Ollie at the University of South Dakota, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, where you can learn just for the fun of it. We have a lot of great programs happening in the month of February, almost every day in February, weekdays at 12:30 to 1 Central Time. Huge variety of topics. And today is a topic I've been wondering a lot about myself, junior achievement in South Dakota. So Kayla is going to talk to us today. We're going to learn about what junior achievement people do, how they use volunteers. We're going to learn all about it. Some of you have said to me, "Oh, I had junior achievement when I was in school." I didn't in Pierce, so I'm curious about it. I did have a former employee one time who is a regular volunteer there, so I got to hear about it that way. But I'm really excited to meet you, Kayla, and welcome to Ollie.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for the chance to share information about our organization and different ways that we impact our community across the state of South Dakota. So to get started, I will share my screen here just to be able to put some faces and images together and allow you to really see the mission of what we're doing. So at a high level, we have been engaged in impacting students in South Dakota since 1968. We just celebrated our 55th anniversary across the state. So really the organization started in Sioux Falls. So Thea, we are in Pierre now. We're just not there when you were in high school. So I'm sorry that we missed you, but grateful to have great relationships in that community as well. As was now noted, my name is Kayla Eachram. I'm the president and CEO of Junior Achievement of South Dakota. I have been with the organization for almost 18 years, so it has been fun to see what we've been able to do across the state and the students that we've been able to impact. And now we're starting to see some of our alumni come back and be volunteers in the classroom or even have their kids be engaged in the program, which is a fun opportunity for us as well. So I will share some information about the organization. I'd love to have questions at the end if there's anything burning, or if there's anything that you even want to jump in and ask questions, I'm happy to do that as well. So really what we are here to do is to inspire and prepare young people to be successful. We envision a world where our young people have the skill set and mindset to build and sustain thriving communities. We really think it's important to grow our own and really show our students, starting as early as kindergarten, what opportunities are out there for them to achieve their dreams, to do the things that they really want to have, the life that they're looking for, and in a kind of a selfish way, to be honest, as a South Dakota resident lifelong, we want to show them what's possible in South Dakota because we'd love to keep them here after they graduate and whatever path they take after graduation. So that's really what we're here to do. Our goal is to connect students to their community. So we're really seen as a connector opportunity, as you see in the middle here, between our community and our businesses and our students across the state. So we partner with school districts. There are more than 50 school districts around South Dakota that work with us, and we connect those students with the community through volunteerism. So it could be folks that work in a business. It could be people that are retired. We have some stay-at-home parents who are able to dedicate some time during the day while their kids are in school to really just share with that future generation, help prepare them and engage them in conversations that will help build their skills for the future. Here's a snapshot of what this looks like for us. As I mentioned, we have been in South Dakota for 55 years. We impacted last school year over 54,000 students with our programming and our student experiences. That was the high water mark for us in the last number of years, which has been wonderful. To do that, we had 1,800 volunteers from 42 communities go into schools and share information with our students. We're very, very grateful that of those volunteers, 72% of them come back year after year. And this has been rung the top in the nation. So we are very, very fortunate to have folks who are passionate about impacting students, wanting them to be successful, and then come back year after year to continue that. We really see it as a positive when a volunteer gets the training and all the resources that are available to them with it being a new volunteer, and then they can take those opportunities and that learning to the next level in the future and really sustain that relationship with the school, with the students, and have that connection moving forward. We have 4 pillars of information that we share with students, or our volunteers share with them in the classroom. As you can see here, entrepreneurship, career readiness, financial literacy, and ethics are our core topics that we talk about. And one thing that's really important to note is that we impact all students who are in the school the day that the volunteer comes in. We work with our school district partners to select the grade levels and the programs that are made available to their students. A lot of times we offer to be a solution provider. So is there something within the curriculum that we could enhance by having a volunteer come in and share their personal or professional stories with the students? Is there something that maybe there is a gap because of funding or scheduling or other pieces that, again, that volunteer could come in and share? So if the student is in a chosen grade level that was selected by the school district and they're in school that day, they get the program. They don't have to sign up. Their parents don't have to engage them in any of that information. They just get to be there and be impacted by the curriculum and the experience, which we feel is very exciting for students. Again, our volunteers share their experiences. They go through and talk through the curriculum that's available to them. There are games and hands-on activities and digital resources that we'll show you here in just a moment that are available to our volunteers. But really, we see those folks as the secret sauce. We have games, we have videos, we have all sorts of activities to help the students learn about those core pillars that we just talked about. But having the volunteers come in and say, I had an experience like this one time, and here's what I did. Or in my job, this is how we use this topic. Or in my family, we really struggled with XYZ, to help students kind of connect to the topics, understand that they are relevant to life after graduation, or even if they're in high school, life now, once they have a job and different things that they're working toward. So those volunteers are so wonderful in being vulnerable and sharing their stories and helping the students connect what they're learning to, again, life outside of school and the things that they'll encounter as they continue to grow up. As I noted before, we do have programming that starts in kindergarten. It goes all the way through high school. And just hot off the press, we were just given a notice that we can now impact young adults up to age 25. So we can even work with some college students or some folks that are new to the workforce if there's any of these things that they would like to have more information on or more experiences on. But at a high level in elementary, we start pretty basic. Our curriculum is developed by educators from our national office who work on the curriculum and ensure that it is to standards that are met for those students and also at their level for understanding. So in elementary school this year, I actually volunteered in my son's kindergarten class. We talked about things like choices and where money comes from and how to save for something you're trying to purchase or to give to a friend. So we start that basic, but then as we go through middle school and high school, we get to have more robust topics and more robust conversations discussing, financial choices and things that are important when you're applying for a job or working on an interview, or just ethical decision-making, things that people face every single day that are sometimes similar to life in high school and the things that they're having to decide and understand the impacts that folks can have with the decisions that they're making, both on themselves and on others as they go through life. We really pride ourselves on providing everything a volunteer needs to be successful. So there is a volunteer guidebook that everyone has. You can see here, Christy is holding this in her hand as she's in the classroom. I do the same thing because there are talking points, there are a schedule. So talk about this for 5 minutes, play this game for 10 minutes, talk through these vocabulary words, and then tell a story about how that relates to your life or your career. So we really help guide you through what is supposed to happen in each session in the classroom and provide you those materials. Like I noted, we do have a new volunteer training. This is really a one-time opportunity that at a high level talks about what it's like to be in a classroom in 2024. It's a little different than when some of us were in school, just in how the classrooms are set up, how they're doing different kinds of learning using technology, and how they're balancing all of these pieces, as well as some classroom management opportunities as well. What we do also like to really highlight is that we value our school partners significantly in many ways, but one of them that's the most important is that they stay in the classroom with our volunteer the entire time they're there, so they can handle any corrections that need to happen, any mistakes that happen. They can really make sure that students are in the right groups, because sometimes different students should work together in a group project, and they know their personalities, and they know some of those pieces that the volunteer doesn't have to handle as well. We also have information on the digital platform that the students and the volunteer gets to use. So instead of holding up a flashcard that says a vocabulary word, it pops up on the screen, and a student can come up and share what they believe that definition is, tap that smartboard, and it flips over to show them what that vocabulary word means. So it just incorporates a little bit more digital aspects. There are things like videos and other games that are on the platform that really just integrate that technology that especially our younger students are so used to having as part of their curriculum, that allows JA to be ingrained in that as well. We also have, worksheets and games that are printed. So it's really a good middle ground between digital and that hands-on opportunity as well. Within our training, we do share some training on the digital pieces for our volunteers who may not be as comfortable with this, but our teachers are great resources. And sometimes the kids are too, because they do so much of this. They love to be helpers and come up to the smartboard and help the volunteer with technology if that is a necessary need as well. We are planning a brand new opportunity starting in May. This is something that we have been working on for a long time. And we actually had an opportunity come out of the pandemic and people thinking differently that will allow us to bring this to our students. So for the first time, we are offering what's called JA Finance Park for our students, launching here in Sioux Falls and then expanding across the state in the future to have our students go through a curriculum that is led by their teacher in the classroom. And then they come for a 4-hour field trip or immersive experience, and they really get to play a personalized game of life. So they receive an iPad when they walk in, and on that iPad is a customized snapshot of a life scenario. So they have a job and a salary, they might have a family, they might have a pet, they might have student loan debt or a positive or negative credit score that might impact some purchases. And then they go around and make up to 20 different buying decisions to plan out their life and live within their means. So they need a place to live, they need transportation. If they do have kids or pets, they have to, pay for childcare or the things that those dependents need. But then they get to plan some fun things. They get to plan a vacation. They get to plan for some home improvements. It could be as small as a ceiling fan. It could be as large as a new kitchen. And then we do ask every student to make a philanthropic decision. So they need to either donate their time or their dollars, really understanding that South Dakota and a lot of things were built on the generosity of others and helping them understand that. So they get to go through, and sometimes they make mistakes. They spend too much on their house or their truck, and they have to go back and make some adjustments. But we think if they can learn about some of these things in a fictionalized world, they might have some fewer mistakes that happen when they are out in that world on their own in the future. So we're very excited about that. Again, this is what happens. They have that iPad, but they also get to visit with volunteers at every storefront and get the chance to say, okay, here's the typical percentage of your income that's spent on housing. So here are the options that make the most sense for you. Again, they can decide whether they want the fancy clothes or maybe the less name brand clothes or food, all of those things to see what life choices that make sense for them. And what we're seeing in terms of surveys after from our colleagues who have this experience across the country is the students are going home and saying, thanks to my parents, because this is tougher than I thought it would be. This is more difficult. And some of them are even saying, I need to step it up in school a little bit because the scenario that I was given at random did not provide me the life that I would like to have or the choices I would like to make. So they are trying to do something to maybe elevate their future income. One story we love about this comes out of San Diego, and there was a young boy there who was in 7th grade. He got to come in with his school, and then he came back for the second time with his Boy Scout troop. And when he came into the facility, he talked to the JA staff person and said, "Hey, I'm back for the second time and I get to do this again, but could you help me with a certain income level because I'd like to do it a different way?" She was like, "Sure, absolutely." She was configuring his iPad, and as she was doing that, she said, "Do you mind telling me why it was this number that you really wanted to practice with?" He said, "Yeah, this is how much my mom makes, and our family isn't very good at this. So I'm hoping that if I can use this type of salary and go in and make these decisions on behalf of our family, we might be able to learn together and make this a little easier for ourselves." So I love stories like that. And not every student is in that type of scenario, but sometimes it's the kids who even have a lot of means that don't realize what it takes to provide this lifestyle that they have as well. So they're understanding what all of that takes within the simulation. So again, this is launching in May. In Sioux Falls is kind of our launch year, and then we'll expand across the state in the future. So we're excited to provide that opportunity for our kids. We have other opportunities outside of the classroom in many of our communities across the state. We have special events that help with fundraising. We also have opportunities that help inspire our students to consider things differently. So our student-based experiences are JA Inspire, where in Sioux Falls, we bring in about 3,500 students from the Sioux Empire, and we take over the entire floor space of the Sioux Falls Convention Center. We bring in about 75 different employers, and the students get to basically do reverse interviews. They get to chat with those folks about what their jobs are, what the industries are like that they are working in, and then they get to try tools and technology and other opportunities that our businesses bring in to help show them what a day is like. So maybe it's technology, maybe it is we have a semi truck that comes in so they can see what it's like to be in a semi or perform CPR, all sorts of different things. Again, trying to help them see what's available, especially in South Dakota. And then for high school students, our student event is the Stock Market Challenge, where they get to pretend they're on Wall Street for an afternoon and understand how investing and savings is important for our financial futures for all of us, whether we are in the financial industry or just working to fund our retirement for the future. We have here a QR code just to share a little bit more if you'd like to engage with JA, whether it's volunteering for an open class. We do have a few open classes available yet this spring to impact our students, or just to learn more about what we have going on across the state. We would be grateful for you to check that out. You can visit, again, our website. You can give us a call or shoot us an email if you have questions. Again, we are very, very grateful for the opportunity to work with so many students across the state and really share with them skills and opportunities to build their future and understand what it takes to be successful, and the hard work that has gone into many of our volunteers and putting into to have the life that they wanted to live. So I appreciate the time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute. I did get a couple sent to me
Okay.
from people. One of them said, "I filled out your volunteer form online, but I haven't heard back yet. When
Oh.
will I hear?"
Good question. I'm sorry that happened. If you want to reach out to us, I don't know if this is a Facebook watcher or someone on the Zoom. If you want to message me if you're on Zoom, or you can email us directly at the email you see here, we will make sure that we reach out to you today. I'm sorry that didn't happen already.
All right. How do towns get JA? Like you told me,
Great
here
question.
finally has it. How did they
We
get
have
it?
a process of really how new communities can engage with us. So we have every county in South Dakota is kind of under our umbrella, so that we'd be the folks that you'd want to chat with. And ultimately, we want it to be a partnership between our office and the school district and the community at large. So again, if there is interest in having that conversation, we'd love to talk to you. Usually I'm the first person you would talk to, so please reach out and let us know. But we like to have conversations. We would come to the community actually after having some initial conversations and really make sure that everybody is excited and wants to be a part of it, because the elements that are key in starting a JA community are support from the school district. That's always the first conversation we have to make sure they're interested in having that opportunity for their students. And then the conversation typically goes to kind of the business community or the community at large to see, is there support for allowing employees to go out into the school during the school day, so they would miss some work to have that opportunity? And is there interest in helping to fund the program? There are some financial pieces with this, with the curriculum and the other things that we have. So we want the community to be supportive in both of those ways, and we would be happy to help facilitate those conversations. Starting new communities and engaging with them for the first time is one of my favorite parts of my job. So I love having those chats. I'd be happy to visit with you if you're in a community that you'd like to explore that opportunity.
Great. Marcy, I see you have your microphone open. Did you have a question? Maybe not. Okay, well, I do have a couple more here.
Sure.
Marcy, if you want to break in anytime, go ahead. How is JA funded?
Great question. So we are funded solely through donations. So we work with foundations and individuals and corporations to share the vision of what we're doing and to help support our students through that philanthropic donation. We have not historically been a United Way agency. It's actually something that Junior Achievement National encourages us to really be funded solely by the community. So we're out sharing our story, working with folks. That's where some of our special events come in. But ultimately, it's direct support for that program through a charitable donation.
Great. I don't know if you can see the chat, but we have a question in the chat. Are meetings during school time or after school? Do the students
Great question.
volunteer for lessons?
So we are one of the few opportunities that most students have that happens directly within the school day. So we work within that typical school day timeframe. Our volunteers can either schedule their time with their partnering teacher, or we help with those schedules as well. And the students, if they're in class that day, they have the chance to be a part of it. So there's really no sign up that happens for the student on their end, except for in high school with some of the classes that the students choose. There's some signing up there depending on their interest level and the things that they're selecting. But we are within the school day. Part of the reason we're able to do that is we do meet content standards in a lot of our areas. So instead of being an additional opportunity for students, we're actually fulfilling some of those content needs just in a different way with having that outside speaker coming in and sharing those topics. It's a good question.
Excellent. You said you can now go up to age 25. So are you working in some colleges or community colleges or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. To be honest, we haven't dipped our toe in this yet. This is brand new to us, so we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. But we have had some conversations with some local technical colleges and some other universities, just saying, could we fill any needs that you might have? And in South Dakota, because we're reaching so many students, sometimes our students have had some of these JA experiences already, so we don't want to duplicate what they've already had. But we have had a lot of interest with this JA Finance Park opportunity, especially as folks are coming into the workforce and understanding what their salary might be, to help practice on that, to understand what's coming their way and how to best balance their resources and have the best choices for the future. So we do see some opportunity with that program as we start launching it across the state.
Can adults go to that finance park?
I've had that
really
question a lot.
It sounds
We're
really
excited.
good.
Yeah, I think there could be a lot of interest as we get going, and honestly, the sky's the limit. So we'll be brainstorming and seeing how we can best use this really cool simulation to benefit as many people as we can.
Anybody else have any questions? If we wanted to make a donation to Junior Achievement, how would we do that?
We have a donate now page on our website, which is jasd.org. Again, we are very grateful for all of those who support, whether in the classroom as volunteers or financially. What we typically say is it's about $25 to have a JA experience for each student that's impacted across the state. So that's pretty low compared to others across the country. So we're proud of our efficiencies and the things that we've built in, and appreciate the support for all of our kids.
Thank you. This is really interesting. Anybody have any other questions? It looks like I've covered Facebook here. Any other questions? All right, well, I just want to remind everybody, well, first of all, Kayla, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about this great program. I really had a gap in my knowledge on JA because it wasn't available to me as a kid,
Sure.
but I know my daughter did it when she was in school, and I hear a lot about JA. So thank you for all that you do in preparing kids to be lifelong learners, like everybody here at Ollie is. So looks like Marcy is the only one left on our actual Zoom chat right now, but I just want to remind everybody we do have another Ollie short tomorrow, which is about your gut health. That's going to be a person who works specifically on that. She's out of Arizona, so I think you'll have someone new to meet. And next year we've got, or next year, next week we've got presentations on macroinvertebrates, which is one of my favorites. I love bugs. Um, and we'll be doing some CPR and how to move your dog to assisted living. And next week, Friday, is our big one, ghost hunting in Deadwood, South Dakota. So I hope you'll all join us. It's the same Zoom link. We'll get you here every day at 12:30. So thank you, Kayla. I appreciate your time and all you do, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Have a great day.
You too.